Okay, my name is Mfon Udoh. I'm from Akwa Ibom, but currently based in Jos Plateau State. I'm a documentary photographer, a community-based tourism promoter. Um, um, I'm me, a lot. So so I said I'll be sharing about my tourism experience. I've been doing photography for roughly 6 years, and my area of specialization has been community festivals, cultural festivals, religious festivals. So having this privilege to talk about festivals in Nigeria, a new pathway is like a privilege of telling me, come and tell us what you're facing and what you hope to see improve in the festival sectors in Nigeria. So festivals are gatherings. They are community gatherings of people and places deeply rooted in culture, tradition, religion of the people. They are not like carnivals, which may be more fanfare. These are more of telling people this is who we are, this is what to celebrate, this is how we eat, this is how we drink, this is why we drink, just honorary events. So festivals are cultural events that has beyond the entertainment part or the educational part of telling people this is who we are, it has economic benefits which has not really yet been harnessed. So what are the types of festivals? We have several types of festivals: the religious festivals, the cultural festivals, the food and sports festivals. We also have the arts and literature, then others festival. Currently, festival is celebrated nationwide, and the opportunity to attend several festivals within the north. When I mean north, I mean Plateau, Kaduna, Bauchi, Nasarawa, and a whole lot. So I've witnessed the similarities and the differences in these cultural festivals, how the people hold it so dear that they celebrate it annually with or without government sponsorship or participation in it. They've been able to preserve this aspect of their life to show the world. But however, there has been some lapses and the celebration, which I'll talk about some of the lapses that I've witnessed in the course of doing documentary for photography for cultures. And then what is working and what is not actually working. How can festival be the new pathway in tourism? Tourism is broad, and festival is one aspect of tourism that has really not been tapped into when it comes to the economy and generating revenue for the community. So these festivals usually happen in communities, not away from towns and big cities. They want to get the best of cultures, the best of people, the best of understanding traditions, what is and what is not. You go to those communities, remote villages, interior places. That's where you get to learn about these people. Then I'll give my recommendation and my conclusion. So, what is actually working in festivals right now is these festivals are preserved and they happen every year, whether they're happening quarterly, whether they are happening half of the in the mid-year, or whether they happen at the end of the year, like the date of December. They've been consistent in preserving this festival occurrence annually, and the culture is still being preserved, that the upcoming generation have something to look into. They have something to hold on to. They have something to remember that this was how our forefathers used to do it, and now we are doing it this way. Despite the differences, they still wanted that is certain that we are still doing what used to be. Really not working is it's sad that if you attend a cultural festival subsequently for 10, 15, 20 years, there is no proper documentation of these cultural festivals. Thanks to the digital era that we are now having smartphones, these creators and photographers and all that who are trying to pick up this. But Imagine attending a festival that they said it has been going on for 20, 30 years, some festivals as far as 50 years ago. And then you said, can I have maybe just a brochure, a magazine of, let me just have visual experience of what this festival has been from 10 years back. It will be saddening to see that there is no proper documentation of this. I had someone had to contact me a few days ago. I was like, "Oh, you've attended our cultural festivals for so and so years. We want to do a magazine and we need these pictures." I was like, I didn't really come in as an official photographer for your event or official coverage. I just came in as one who promotes culture and loves to educate people about the various cultures that we have in Nigeria. So it's just said that the tribal development do not really make provision for proper documentation of festivals. So if someone wants to go to the archive and say, let me see what was working and what is not really working, let's see the differences between within the last 5 years that we've been doing these cultural festivals, there might actually be nothing to look back on. Then the itinerary in cultural festivals, people do not really, most of our tourism promoters do not really package festivals as part of it. Sometimes just put it as a side. Maybe you're visiting a state and they say, oh, you're coming in January. Okay, there's this festival. Maybe you can just stop in and see what's going on there. Festivals deserve to have its own tourism package, not as a side dish, but as a main destination. So when we are fixing festivals, we're not just fixing it aside, okay, let's just proceed to just come 1 hour, 2 hour and look at what these people are doing. There we go. You have to fix that this is the main thing that you're coming from. In Plateau State that I'm based, we have the festival period starts from January, February, March, April into early or mid-May. That's before the farming season starts. So once the rain starts, most festivals are totally gone till August, September, December. So January down to May, they have religious festivals. They have the cultural festivals, the tribal festivals. So for the religious festivals, they'll have the pre-farming season, where most of these tribes have to do this their religious of cleansing the land, certain seed preparation. They don't just go into the farm and start farming. There has to be a festival to usher in the farming season. Then mid farming season, there will still be a festival. Then at the close of the farming season, before harvest starts, there will still be a festival to usher in the harvest season and thanking the gods of the land for a successful farming period. So if tour operators want to plan, they can see how to plan tours between January to May to fit in for those who are interested in cultural tourism or festival tourism to attend one or two or three. But some of these festivals happen almost back to back every Saturday. At times, so two or three can be going on at the same time. So we can look into it and make it a product on itself. Then for the community, I advocate for community-based tourism because when you want to get the best of um, when you want to get the best of an experience as a tourist. Yeah, I see your comment. I'm actually coming to, I'll come to that why people do not organize because of culture or because of religious or traditional beliefs. I'll come to that. So I was talking about community-based tourism. If you would do tourism, tourism is not about the aesthetic building. It doesn't just start and end in the city where you go to see, where you go to resorts, you go to see beautiful places, buildings, structures. There are communities that has heritage sites that we don't talk about. I've been in Plateau State for 7 years, and I've visited a large percent of the villages. And I tell you that Jos, which is the the state capitals. I took some tourists about last month too. They came to visit the land of the Sacred Seven here in Plateau State and a different local government and interior village. We talk about those hidden mountains. We talk about those sacred traditions that are still being observed. You won't find those in towns. You won't find those in buildings, in structures, because once you take away those things from their main place and bring them to town, they lose most of them. So it has to be that when you're coming to do tourism, don't just focus on the city part. I'm not exploring villages. Yes, there is insecurity, which I'll come to that, but there are still people, there are still safety. That's why we have the local tour guides in those villages, in those communities, who in their best can guarantee your safety till you're done with what you're doing there. And then community orientation for festivals, we have to give the community orientation that these people, they are coming, like what is said about religious and tradition. Let me address that now. If festival tourism is being packaged as a product, I want to believe that the community we get orientation on how to treat those that are coming. One, they are visitors. They do not understand some of your traditions. They do not understand some of your culture. As a documentary photographer, whenever I go to a place, I don't sit. I wait for them to tell me sit because Africans generally have these restrictions on women, and me particularly as a woman. So there was one time I went to a village in Kanki. They have this gas architecture where the stones similar to something we have in Sukru. So I was almost about to sit when somebody told me, no, don't sit yet. I was like, okay, why? They said there are places women cannot sit here. There are places ladies who are menstruating cannot sit. There are places that any girl who is above certain age cannot sit. So they have to show me this is where I can sit and this is why I should sit there. First, they understand that I'm not from there. And then I also understand that I'm not from there. And I have to ask questions. How do I do this? What do I do this? Where do I stand? Where do I sit? How do I speak? Are women permitted to talk? Or do I just sit and observe and listen and to whatever you're telling me? So that is it addressing it. It's the same thing with the religion. As a festival photographer, a cultural photographer, I dress to fit in wherever I'm going to. I was in Toba last week in Lafia, and I had to dress like to fit in. Even though my face may give me out that I'm not of the religion, but dressing there makes they'll welcome me more because it's okay, this one respects our religion that we cover our body, we cover our head. There is a pattern that we walk and there is how we associate. So I learned to always respect that aspect of people's religion or their culture. The same thing when I went to Bauchi for the Doba. And in fact, I was fully dressed like a Fulani. They were now calling me Yaninya Fulani. Even though I don't even understand Hausa, I don't even understand the language, but I understand that there is a deep need to respect people's religion, to respect people's mode of decency and dressing. So I dress to fit. That's addressing the religious aspect. As for the tradition, you are free to ask questions. They say pursuing the ask question, no, they misroad. Ask, if I do this, should I do this? There was a time they told me that, okay, if you do this in Ngasland, you have to kill one cow. And the cow has to be specifically from that tribe. You can't bring in a cow from another tribe. So that was me understanding why I went there and what I should do and what I should avoid doing. So the basic infrastructure is also not there. Going for the festival zone, I went to, there are several festivals that do. Once you get to the village, you're totally out of network. Like no signal at all till you leave there. Not to talk about the road that leads to these places. The roads are not there. So these are some of the challenges and I encounter when doing this. The basic infrastructure is not there. If this basic infrastructure to give people access to this place is not there, how do we now fix in packaging tourism as a festivals as a product? So My recommendation would be we should treat festivals as a tourism destination, not as addition. Treat it as a package on its own, where people say, okay, I want to buy your package, but what I'm concerned about is cultural festivals. Can you give me an itinerary? When should I come in? What time should I come in? When is the peak season for festivals in Nigeria or in whatever state that you are? Then we should do something about the documentation. My time is almost up. We should do something about documentation of our cultural festivals. It's high time we have digital archive. We've moved, though we are still in the era of pen and papers and books and all that, but there is need for this digital documentation. Someone could be wherever the. I had someone contacted me last month for a cultural tourism. He did the Angas and Afizere tribe. I curated it. They came from Spain. So it was what he saw that I did online. In fact, he just searched through online and he found me there. That was why he contacted me and said, I have these stories that are coming from Spain. They want to experience three tribes on the plateau. Can you give us a cultural festival, cultural itinerary? And I had to do the Ngas and the Afizere tribe for them. It was a rich experience for them because I could see the satisfaction that they got doing it. Imagine if they have come during the festive period. Then a community-based tourism to empower the communities, model them. I had the festival that I went for in Mopunland. I saw a need there that the children did not have slippers. When I came back to Jos, I had to raise funds to buy slippers for over 100 children in the community. That is what community-based tourism do. It brings development to the community. These people may not have access to cities and towns where most tourists usually flock into. But when you bring tourism to them in their community, the chances of them benefiting from the tourists is very high. Then the youths can be empowered. And then very important is our security and policies. We should move past having policies on papers and start implementing these policies where the common man can benefit. Our securities need to be fixed. Sometimes when you tell someone that I'm in Jos, they be like, what are you doing there? They are killing people there. Are you not there? I said, no, this place is safe. Okay, come for tour. No, I cannot come because the place is not safe. This is where the government should come in and please save the festivals. Sadly, in Plateau State this year, majority of the cultural festivals were cancelled. Nzembiron was cancelled. Ilumotaruk was cancelled. The Run festivals was cancelled. A whole lot of festivals was cancelled because of the insecurity. So how do we sell tourism, festival tourism when we have these insecurity issues that is making them to cancel these festivals? So festivals can create temporal economic benefits, but if we give in deep, it will create a permanent economic benefit. The mama that sells akara in the community, if you come to a community to do tourism there, you buy akara from her. The girl that sells awara, you will buy awara from her. The one that sells kunu, you will patronize. That's the economic the revenue of the state of the community then is boosted because of your presence as a tourist there. So my recommendation, I've already said it, and then the conclusion is that festival tourism is something we really need to look into. I remember telling someone that I'm a cultural photographer and the last laptop meeting that we went to in Ondo, and he was like, what is cultural photographer? They has not heard of it before. I say, yeah, I think we really need to do a lot of work now that the festival photographer, people like me who attend cultural festivals to educate, to entertain, to inform people, and to preserve this cultural heritage. So if we can do more about our festivals, I'm very sure that festivals will be a new pathway in boosting tourism in Nigeria. Thank you. I don't know whether